Hello, my friends. Welcome to another step-by-step video by the Cooking Maiden. Today we're going to make a thick, minty, chocolate-kissed ice cream cocktail. And we're going to use shaved chocolate and incorporate that at the end. We're also going to have all the ingredients lined up so we make a more successful dessert. And that way it makes it easier and more pleasurable. So we got the ice cream, we got the heavy whipped cream. We have the almond milk. You can use any milk you like. This is just the only type I had today. We need cream de cocoa and cream de mint. We have the measuring devices we need. The cream and the milk is already poured out. And the ice cream is sitting so it can get a little softened up a bit in preparation for the recipe. And here's the chocolate that we're going to shave later, and I'll show that in just a second. Okay, we have a nice big square of chocolate. It's a little bit big, so I think I'm going to have to just, there we go, break it in half. And we're going to try to create some really pretty shaved chocolate out of this. Now, when you shave it just on the side like this, it makes little curls. So we're going to make some small ones. You see how they're little curlies. They're very delicate, so they're going to break easily. And this takes a little bit of time. This recipe calls for a half cup. But you know, you can never have enough chocolate, so I may just put more than a half cup in today. And just keep in mind that you want to keep some of this shaved pieces. If you see some really nice ones, some really decent shapes, and I'm seeing some already, then you want to keep that aside on a different plate for the finished product to put the garnish. Now I'm showing you a little more technique on just how I'm going wider on here, and see how that creates a longer, thinner curl on the chocolate. So we're going to make some longer, thinner curls. Also, it would be nice, probably a combination of both for the garnish. But I'll do the rest off camera. Okay, in this recipe, we are going to take the heavy whipping cream, which is almost room temperature by now, and we're going to put it in a mixing bowl. We are not going to put this in the blender at all, because that'll compromise the beautiful velvet texture that we're going for to make this just indulgent dessert. We're going to be using the electric hand blender to do so. So we're just going to put it on medium. Okay, we're going to beat on medium for about 2 minutes and then 30 seconds on high at the end. And this is what it's going to look like when it's perfect consistency for whipped cream. I'm just going to whip it one more second for you here, just so you see how it folds and what it's supposed to look like. And there we go. We can let this just sit aside for a second. And there's those extra shavings. I try to find the nicer looking ones, right, that we're going to use for the garnish. And there's the 3/4 cup that we're going to put in today of the shaved chocolate. And here's our other ingredients. It looks like our ice cream is going to be more pliable and easier to work with now. We got everything lined up. Okay, I just wanted to showcase how beautiful this whipped cream is. I don't know if you can see the texture. There we go. And that shine, that is absolutely going to come through in the flavor and the look of the finished product. I promise you. I'll be able to even show you at the end of this video. So, let's start getting the things ready that we're going to put into our blender. grabbing the ice cream first. We're going to put one big scoop. And since that one's a little bit big, we'll just put a little smaller scoop in. But you know what? This recipe is very forgiving. You can put a lot more ice cream, a little less milk. We'll go into those details as we continue here. Now, I'm just going to grab the milk. And it's, again, important that we have everything all set in place, especially when we're making a frozen dessert, because time is of the essence if you want to be successful on it. So we're going to put the whole cup in. Now, of course, if you want to make this dessert thicker, that is totally up to you. Just put a half a cup in or even a quarter cup of milk in, I would suggest. And then we're going to add our white creme de cocoa. Okay, and we have that mint. This actually, I'm going to put a little less than an ounce in. I don't want the mint to be the dominant flavor. I want that white chocolate, that white cream de cocoa to be. So in this particular recipe, I'm going to put 3 ounces of white cream de cocoa and 1 ounce of cream de mint. So we're going to let this beautiful whipped cream just sit there. It'll be totally perfect, just awaiting its union with the blended recipes. Okay, now we're going to go to the blender. Everything's just hanging out and staying smooth. And while we're waiting for the blender, I was just going to mention that grab maybe some nice antique glass containers that you like and put them in the freezer. Actually, I did earlier. So they've been sitting in there for about an hour already. Now we're just going to blend this. It's going to take 30 seconds. Okay, it's blended. And we've moved on already, and I already put the green paste into our velvety whipped cream. Now, because we've worked so long to do this, we're just going to kind of lightly incorporate that green gel so it gets the beautiful streaks, but we don't even have to mix it all the way because we will be mixing this into our mixture from the blender yet. Just want to kind of showcase this and how beautiful it looks. And we're trying to fluff it. We're not trying to really mix it. Just lightly incorporate it into the color, into the whipped cream. Look at that. Okay, so now we have the whipped cream, and right below it, I've already transferred what was in the blender that we just blended for less than 30 seconds, really, into another bowl. So we want to take our velvety whipped cream and put it into the contents that were in the blender. Now again here, we just want to mix very lightly. And it's going to be a little more liquid because alcohol does seem to, it seems to make things more liquidy. It doesn't help if you want it thick. But to control that, just put less milk in. This recipe has a full cup in. And look at that shine that's beginning to, you can see the shine? That is beautiful. That is perfection. And we're going to get those shavings of chocolate out because we also want to hand mix these. We don't want to muddy the color. if we would have taken these shaved chocolate pieces and put them in the blender, this whole drink would have looked like muddy, like a not desirable color. Now, if you're making this with love, which you know this is, your guests are really going to appreciate it and notice it, because you're going to be able to see those little chunks in there, and they're not going to be hard chunks at all. They're going to like melt in your mouth, but have just enough texture to make it like a luxurious dessert for sure. And look at the color, it's so beautiful. I'm going to adjust the lighting on here as well. So this is going to be in a light fluorescent light. But if you're making this recipe at nighttime and you have a more ambient, like a warmer light, it's actually going to look a little more like this. A little more aqua, which is absolutely beautiful too. And see that gleam and that shine? You're not going to get that unless you prepared it exactly the way we did it with the whipped cream separately out of the blender. Okay, we're going to adjust the light right back. And this is the finished product. Here we go. I've already assembled them. And I got some Shamrock cookies and put it out to be festive. We got little baby Shamrocks around that are made out of little jellies, like little gummies. We took some chocolate, made a little swirl on the top with some dark chocolate. That actually looks amazing. And here's our shaved chocolate for a garnish. Here again, these are all antique cups that I had in the freezer. It only takes about 20 minutes, but I think I had it in the freezer for maybe an hour. I have a spoon in some and a big straw in another, depending on what your guest, how they want to drink it. And some people just like to sip it right out of the glass. This is my favorite, and I already have a spoon in it, so I'm just going to have to try it because it just looks amazing. Oh my gosh. That is just awesome. I took way too small of a spoonful, but that's okay. I'll take a bigger one later. That's going to be my drink for sure. And I'd say invite your guest and put little platters of anything you'd want to put on for toppings, because it makes it more fun when people can just add their own things to their gourmet dessert. I have different types of sprinkles, chocolate ones, little mint ones, the garnish we made, and the liquid chocolate as well. And here's just a little display how they can pick some of that and throw it on top of their drink. You could also take regular whipped cream and put it on the bottom before putting the colored mixture and make it in layers. You could be all kinds of creative. So I hope you enjoy this, my friends. I know I do.